Hey guys, welcome to this is our number
Yep.
fourth divorce force. The mission of this time together was to really just create a safe space to be and to get information out about divorce. Tonight is the do's and don'ts of divorce. And the goal here is to create a place where you can ask questions, right? If you don't feel comfortable asking questions here, we're going to get our email addresses at the end, phone numbers, so you can call us. It's not about getting clients for us. It's about getting the word out. Most marriages, 60% of marriages end in divorce. Second marriages, 80% of them end in divorce. So we know it's on the rise and it's a problem, and there's gray divorce that's now happening. So the mission here is to get a group of people in front of you, and each week we'll have different guest speakers. This week we didn't have any. We didn't want to have too much do's and don'ts. It might make you feel a little crazy. And so our mission was just to kind of talk through some things as we go through this. If you guys have questions and you don't feel comfortable putting them in the chat, you can either private message us or write them down. And the email is connected to where you signed up to come and join this group. We're always happy to walk with you through things. So we're going to get started. All right. Divorce is not just a legal event.
Brandy, if you could share your screen.
Oh, we're not sharing. Well, good thing. Thanks, love. Better?
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
So divorce is not just a legal event. The decisions you make today can affect, it says next to 10 to 20 years of your life. It could be the rest of your life. And the hardest thing is, as you go through divorce, is you start recognizing that there's all these decisions coming at you. And if you don't know about finance, now you're having a crash course in finance. If you've never been a stay-at-home or a single parent, now you're crash coursing into parenting. If you've never dealt with emotions, which might have been part of what caused the divorce, they come in a flood. And if you don't know how to feel them, it can ruin your day. You've been comfortable in a house and maybe it's going away, or you have to make decisions. So there's a bunch of different things that you have to talk about. You know, sometimes for me, when I went through my divorce, I was a stay-at-home homeschool mom. I loved being home with my children. And all of a sudden I found myself having to have a career. So as we go through this, we want to kind of bring these things up. It's not meant to be an all extensive list, but it's things to kind of make you think as you go through said divorce. Just want to make sure I'm opening my thing over here. And so who we have tonight, and I'll just kind of introduce everyone. Our first panelist up will be Nate McDowell. See, there I go, Nate Dowell. His middle name starts with Mick. And now I'm going to do it forever. And he is out here in Colorado. And the reason we have him on here, he's a family law attorney. Didn't start out to be a family law attorney. He started out going into criminal law, and then they had a kid, and he got into family law and decided that he loved it. I asked him today what his favorite thing was about family law, and he goes, I don't like drama in my own life, but I like calming people's drama and helping them get through it. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I have watched him in my own personal family walk with one of my family members, and it is very true. So when you get to hear from him, he's going to bring up a lot of things. Yes, he's a lawyer, so he's going to bring up the legal things. So take notes, write them down, write down your questions, circle them so you can ask us. But we're excited for you to be able to hear what Nate has to say, and I'll introduce each person as we go, and then we'll have everybody's contact info at the end. Okay.
Okay. That moves on to me. Okay. So the do's and don'ts of divorce. Quite honestly, I could talk for 2-3 hours on that topic. But let me start off just by saying each divorce is unique. Parties involved, their children, their life experiences, their relationship experiences, all are unique. The facts of any divorce case may be similar to others, but the specific issues and the nuances are unique to those involved. So the do's and don'ts of a particular divorce are really based on the unique facts of that case. That being said, there are some general do's and some general don'ts that can be applied to most contested divorce cases. For the purposes of this conversation, I'm going to address well, not the truly horrible cases where there's abuse, neglect, domestic violence, things like that. In those cases, I would be talking about protecting yourself, protecting your ability to access money, protecting your child safety, and so on. That's definitely very specific to the circumstances of your case, and I'm not going to touch on those. In this discussion, we'll focus more on, I don't know, the general contested divorce case that doesn't involve the extreme situations. So, primary do, you'll see it on this slide, is to be prepared. How do you get prepared? You gather information. What's the purpose of divorce force? To help you, advise you to build a tribe. That's what you do. You build a tribe. You get an attorney, I think. Consult with many. Find the one that works for you. You find a financial expert. You hire that person, you consult with that person. A divorce coach, you hire that person, you consult with that person. Real estate expert, get that person involved. Emotional support, you need that. Build your tribe. We've been discussing this through, I don't know, sessions 1, 2, and 3 with Divorce Force, and we'll discuss it again, of course. Okay, do build your tribe with people you trust. Those people that are in your tribe are going to be giving you advice. If you trust them, you will take that advice and you'll listen to it, and you'll, make up your own mind based on the positive advice. If you don't trust it, you're going to dismiss it. If you don't like what your attorney, your divorce coach, your financial planner, your real estate expert has to say, you're going to ignore it. And ignoring good advice can lead to negative outcomes. So creating a tribe of people you trust is very important. The primary don't, I'm going to call it principle. Karen's going to talk about emotion, kind of the same concept. Do not act on principle. Do not act on emotion. Principle is not cooperative. Principle is not conciliatory. Principle creates conflict, and principle can be expensive. And frankly, if you're dealing with someone who you once loved and maybe still do, and you had once committed your life to, acting on principle is not the right thing to do. Don't act out of emotion. That's difficult too. Divorce is scary. Divorce impacts everything that you value. Your children, you're going to have to divide your time. You're going to have to share responsibilities. You're going to have to co-parent with someone you're ending a relationship with. Impacts your property. Marital property gets divided. Your plans for the future are impacted. Your retirement, or your thoughts about retirement, or your hopes about retirement can be impacted. Debts probably are going to increase. It impacts your income. You've got the same income, but now you have two households. Are you going to have to pay too much as the payor? Are you, as the payee, going to receive enough? You're both going to say, how can I make ends meet? You, quite honest, frankly, are in a vulnerable situation, and you're not in a vulnerable situation by choice. It's thrust upon you, and you have to go through it. Your future is uncertain. That's scary. Sorry. You'll have sadness. You'll have loneliness. You'll be scared. How does that come out? Anger. Anger leads to reactions, not responses. So do not make decisions from a heightened state of emotion. Do not make a decision in anger. More practically, do not post on social media. Do not look at your spouse's social media posts. Do not discuss your spouse's social media posts with others, because there's going to be plenty of people who are going to report to you on what she or he said. Do not take advice from a non-lawyer. Everybody's been through a divorce. Everybody knows somebody who's been through a divorce. Anytime you go into the hair salon or your barber shop, you're going to run into someone who's got, 1,000 clients who've all been through divorces, and don't listen to those people. Don't take financial advice from someone other than that person who's in your tribe. Don't take home advice from someone other than who's in your tribe. Do what you need to do to lower your emotional level. Talk to a therapist, talk to a divorce coach, talk to a trusted friend who will talk straight with you, not a cheerleader. Make decisions from a manageable emotional state. Respond, do not react. It's the emotional reactions that get you into trouble. With your children, you can speak negatively with or around, I should qualify that. You can speak negatively about the other parent. You can act negatively towards the other parent. Maybe you have a parenting time exchange and you're not acting like you had, but your child's there and your child observes everything, of course, and they see it and they feel it. And negativity towards the other parent for a child is basically saying, being negative towards half of that child. They're made up of their two parents, equal parts. If you criticize one of those parents, you're criticizing half of that child. And that's what the child feels. They're not sophisticated enough to know any difference. And that's a don't for sure. Don'ts as far as emotional communications or involvement. And co-parenting, communicate respectfully. Do not over communicate. Do not make demands of the other parent. Do not criticize the other's parenting. No expressions of concerns with behaviors. Don't mess with parenting time. If you're in an early stage and you don't have a schedule, just do what you have done. Maintain that status quo. Make it familiar for your child. If you've got court orders, comply with those court orders. It's all about creating stability for your child. And frankly, for you, because you've got years, depending on the age of your child, you've got years of co-parenting. And if you started off on a bad foot, that's how it's going to stay for the next 10, 15, however many years. And frankly, even when they're adults, because you're still going to have to interact, even when they're adults, you're going to have graduations and you're going to have marriages and you're going to have whatever. So,
Nathan, can I ask you a question on that?
yes.
When you're talking about like negativity and you're talking about using the kids or saying things or changing your behavior in a negative way around the kids, how do you see that affecting divorce cases as you're in the middle of them? Like, what does it do? Like, what's the ripple effect of that?
The ripple effect is, man, I mean, in divorce cases that involve children, the children are the most important thing to both parents. Again, I'm speaking generally speaking. Of course, there's extreme situations where that's not the case, but in general, you've got two parents who that's their number one thing, child. And if the conflict involves the child, it affects everything. Not only does it increase the conflict within the case as far as the parenting, it affects the child or children emotionally, and it spills over into every other aspect of the case: the division of property, spousal maintenance, child support.
Do you
all
find that it increases the costs of the case? Like, does it, when they start bickering back and forth and he said, she said, does that, and granted, you get paid by the hour and you're probably fine for them to bicker, but does that increase the cost and the length?
exponentially, in both respects? Absolutely.
So in your opinion, in your opinion, as you're dealing with this and you start seeing a client kind of escalating like that, what do you tell them?
Well, of course, it depends on the circumstance and it depends on the person and depends on the type of communication that you have with the person and what they're receptive to. But you tell them, nobody sees the world like you do. The judge isn't going to see the world like you do. The opposing party is not going to see the world like you do. Any expert that's involved is not going to see the world like you do. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means that you have to de-escalate and you have to pull back and you have to, again, not think emotionally, think rationally. And that takes a lot of effort. So in some circumstances, I would say, go talk to Karen. And I would say that in a lot of circumstances because I know Karen's amazing like that, but in other circumstances.
And Karen's going to tell you to knock it off.
She'll say it just like that too.
Karen will tell you, and this is the amazing thing about Karen, is, and frankly, any good therapist, they're going to tell you that in the way you need to hear it,
Hmm.
not knock it off.
Yeah.
It could be knock it off for this person, but for this person, it's going to be, hold on, let's have a cup of coffee. Let's talk about this for a second. How do you work, and how do you, is that working for you? Is it decreasing your stress level? Things like that. But just, yeah, of course, conflict. You'll find plenty of attorneys, divorce attorneys, who say, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'm only doing financial cases. Why? Because kids create strong emotions, and strong emotions create conflict.
Hmm.
And some people that get on in their career, they say, you know what, life's too short to be dealing with this. I haven't said that yet. Maybe the day is coming, but
Can,
it's a lot.
can I,
And yeah, so yes, to answer your question, Brandy, more time, more money exponentially.
can
Yes.
I interject one thing? In talking about bad mouthing your spouse to the children, what I have seen is, especially when there's a situation where one parent is bad mouthing the other one, and that parent is not bad mouthing the other one, it's interesting because the child develops a greater respect for the parent who is not bad mouthing, and they lose respect for the parent who is bad mouthing the other.
Hmm.
Just something that I've noticed.
Mhm.
Interesting.
I do see that happening, but at the same time, or not the same time, there are definitely other circumstances where the child's, I'll just say, personality based on their development to that point, which is based on the dynamics within the relationship. But a child can gravitate towards the more aggressive,
True.
because
It's safer.
that aggressive parent has been outspoken for so many months, years, whatever.
Very true.
And the child knows this is, I have to appease that.
Mm.
The other parent, the calm parent, the quiet parent, the level-headed parent is just understands what the child's going through and will accept it and just receive it and not lay into that person. But the dysfunctional, emotionally
Unstable.
unstable parent, they're not safe. And so you can't cross them, you can't go against them. And so oftentimes a child will, and quite honestly, I saw it today
Mm.
in a situation, will say what that aggressive, obnoxious,
Mm.
unstable parent wants to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that leads to words on a piece of paper. They get filed with the court asking for some kind of ridiculous relief that you then have to deal with.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's not fair to the child either.
So we're gonna keep going because we're running out of time, and I want to get to our divorce coach.
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
We
I'm
have.
ready.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting close. I'm getting close. So
Do you want to
co-parent,
say a couple more things? Go ahead.
if I might,
Yeah.
I've got a great conclusion.
Okay. Well, I mean, you are an attorney. We have to have conclusions. Your
I don't-
honor.
I don't know if that's true, but so anyway, that's the parenting component. And Brandy, you were talking about the things that why am I still in family law? That's really one of the things for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So money is another thing. Emotions can impact. High emotions can impact. You can feel entitled to more than what is fair and what is equitable because you're heightened, because that other person is a bad person, and everybody's got to see it, but that's not really how it goes.
Right.
You can have unreasonable, and therefore you have unreasonable expectations about the resolution of your case. So do not feel like you deserve more because your spouse is a jerk. You can't do that, because then you're always going to be disappointed, because you're dealing with somebody who sees this every single day, and it becomes mundane, and it becomes, yeah, I saw this an hour ago. Yeah, I saw this. And they've forgotten about your case by the time you next appear in front of them. So do realize, so all that being said, do realize that you, in a divorce case, have a heightened duty to treat your soon-to-be ex-spouse respectfully. Do realize that you have an obligation to disclose everything, getting to the slide. Do not think that if they don't ask for it, they don't get it. That's not how it goes.
Hmm.
Do realize that your spouse is probably not as bad. And again, this is not the extreme situation as you think he or she is right now. Do realize that the judge will not be able to see your spouse the same way you see them. There was an attorney I worked for about 20 years ago. He said, and it stuck with me. It's the only thing he said that stuck with me. He said, Snow White does not marry Jack the Ripper. And that illustrates the idea that both
Ooh.
spouses generally contribute to the downfall of the marriage. It's not just one spouse's fault. It's not one spouse who's good and the other is bad. Neither parent generally is all that bad or all good.
Mhm.
The court, the ultimate decision maker, will give each of you the benefit of the doubt at the start. The court will view each of you as imperfect. The court will certainly have a different view of what is fair, equitable, and in the best interest of your children than you do. So, in conclusion, do gather your trusted tribe and work with them. Do treat the other party with respect, despite everything telling you not to. Do focus on what is truly in your child's best interests, understanding that they love both parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respond, don't react, and breathe.
Good one. I did like your closing. I'm glad you pushed through on that one. The Snow White does not marry Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
Ouch and sting. Just
Yeah.
saying.
When
Just
I first heard that, it didn't mean anything to me. Now, 25 years later, yep.
You know, like attracts like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Nathan. That was amazing. And there's so many do's and don'ts. Here's the thing. You'll get 10% of
So
what we
many.
say today.
Yeah.
And our mission is to just keep planting the seeds so you can grow and learn. Next up, we have Karen Urak. She is our divorce coach, a certified divorce coach. And not only, and I love to explain who she is because she's been very big in my family's life. My daughter's going through a divorce, and her and Nathan work together. She was the paralegal, he was the attorney, and they have kind of like a work wife and husband relationship. They tell each other what to do, which I love.
There's no
Um,
contest.
Yeah, no, they absolutely do. But what's brilliant about that is you guys are sitting here and you're listening to them. Karen's a mom. She's a mama bear. She is very organized. She tells you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and she makes you feel great about it. But just going through divorce, you already feel like if you've been through a divorce, you feel crazy. And every one of us has been through a divorce. This is partly why we do this. But when you go through a divorce, you're in decision making overload, you're emotional, you're dealing with so many things. And Karen's going to talk about some do's and don'ts of that emotional side and what a divorce coach can do. And again, it's not about selling Karen, it's not about selling Nate, it's not about selling any of us. It's about how do we get the information in your hands. If we can make your divorce is a death. It's two paper plates stuck together. And when you tear them apart, part of you goes with one and part of them comes with you. And it will always hurt. And so when you have someone like a Karen to walk with you, you heal a little faster. You make different choices that are maybe better for you and your family. So without further ado, Karen, hold on, let me get there. There we go.
Thank you, Brandy. So yeah, I think I'm going to start with the don'ts. So then we end with the do's because I feel like that's a little more positive than pointing the finger and saying all that. So, okay, don'ts. My number one don't let your emotions guide your decisions. Nate went over this a lot, and I'm going to do it too because it's that important.
Mhm.
This takes work. Divorce is emotional. There's anger, there's fear, there's guilt, there's shame, there's grief, there's even relief, all of which are normal. What sucks is that the biggest decisions in your life that you're making that will have lasting effects on your finances, your children, your career, and your future happen when all this is flooded. So give yourself permission to feel your emotions, but don't let them take over the steering wheel of your life. You will crash for sure. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you may feel completely overwhelmed. Every emotion is valid, but making important legal, financial, parenting decisions in the middle of intense emotions can lead to choices that you might later regret. Don't think the attorney will do it all for you. Don't sit back and hope it goes away soon. I get it. it's hard to make so many critical decisions when you're on this emotional roller coaster. But you have to take an active role in your divorce. This is your life. You have to live it, not the attorney, not the coach, not the CDFA, not even your best friend. You have to live with the decisions that are being made. It's always helpful to work with a certified divorce coach to understand your fears and build the confidence and move forward with purpose. A clear mind today can lead to fewer regrets tomorrow. So don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. My number 2, please don't use your children as messengers or confidants. One of the kindest things you can do for your children during divorce is let them simply be kids.
Yeah.
Just let them be kids. Avoid asking them to deliver messages to your co-parent or placing them in the middle of adult conversations. They shouldn't feel responsible for carrying information or keeping secrets or providing emotional support to either parent. Let them be a kid. Your child deserves the freedom to love both parents without feeling caught in the middle. I know it's hard when they go on that first vacation without you, or your co-parent has a new significant other. Don't share your feelings about the other adult situation to your kids. Let them like who they want. Let them be excited to go on these vacations. Let them be a kid. I can't say that enough. When communication becomes difficult and you just want to scream because you're so pissed off, lean on this tribe Nate's talking about, your coach, your close friend, a trusted family member. Let them be your sounding board. Your child should not be that. Protect your children from conflict and all the adult crap that comes along with divorce. Help build their confidence. Help build their security and emotional well-being. It's also will be the building block of a healthy relationship when they get older. Divorce is a transition for the whole family.
Yeah.
Don't take away the moments your children deserve. All the things kids want to do, don't get in the way of that just because of your heightened emotion and your feelings for dad or mom. Number 3, don't make major financial decisions without understanding the long-term impact. Brandy's going to talk more about this, but I feel it's so important to say it again and again and again. And like Nate said, there's a lot of stuff we say at every one of these sessions because it's so important. The choices you make during your divorce can affect your financial future for years to come. Don't rush a settlement. Dividing retirement accounts, selling the family home, figuring out who will pay what medical fees or bills, or making other significant financial decisions should not be a quick decision. You need to understand the long-term consequences, not just the immediate outcome. Let me tell you something you should not forget. Knowledge is one of your greatest assets that no one can take or divide during a divorce. So don't make financial decisions without a lot of research and guidance from these divorce professionals that know all the things about finances. All right, number 4, don't focus on winning. Divorce is not a competition, and there are almost never true winners in it. When your goal is to take down your spouse or get even or make them pay, you've already set yourself behind. It's easy to lose sight of what really matters during the divorce. As a reminder, your peace, your children, your financial future, and the life you're working to build is what should be most important to you. Again, don't let these damn feelings get in the way and mess up your thought process. Divorces that include high conflict, which are usually the people who have to win or have to prove something to someone, will pay more in fees and waste more time. Don't waste your energy on trying to win because you won't. And like Nate was kind of talking about, you will never feel like you were heard when you're in front of the judge. No one there is going to care about hearing your story the way you do. It just doesn't happen in court. Again, if you're wasting a lot of time and money and energy on it, that's it. It's a waste. Put it to better use. The strongest victories are not about getting even. They're about moving past the hurt and creating a stable, healthy foundation for your next chapter. A victory is succeeding at this new life. It's about moving forward and not staying stuck in the past. And my number 5, don't post your life on social media during the divorce. During the divorce, what you post online can be misinterpreted, it can be taken out of context, or even used as evidence. It may be tempting to vent, share your side of the story, or post updates about the new fabulous single life you have. But during the divorce, social media can create unnecessary conflict, and in some cases, even prolong legal proceedings, which means more money out of your pocket, more time stuck in this divorce cycle. Stop and think before you put it in writing. Don't write an emotional response you will regret later. In fact, some things you can do is ask yourself, will this help my future or just satisfy how I'm feeling right now? Or do you want to read this out loud to a judge? Again, those feelings are getting in the way of good decisions. Don't let social media take away your privacy or your peace or wreck your legal case. Social media will not protect your future, and it will not protect your children. All right, let's go to the positives. Number 1, stop, pause, and think before you react. In those moments when your heart is beating out of your chest and your face is getting red because you're so angry, or you're sitting there with your mouth wide open and your big eyes, and y'all know what I'm talking about. It's this that we all do. It can be easy in those moments to say something you regret, or send a message you wish you could take back, or make a decision based on emotion rather than intention. Your body is notifying you of the reason. Listen to it. Sorry, your body is notifying you of Your body is notifying you for a reason. Pay attention to it. Easier said than done. Pay attention to you. Pause and ask, why am I feeling this way? Why am I sending me into a frenzy? Is it going to matter in a week? Slow down, breathe, process, and give time for the emotions to chill out. Not every conversation or post deserves a reaction or a response. In this world today where everything is instant, pausing actually feels like you're doing something wrong. In divorce, it's actually one of the best things you can do. So just pause. A thoughtful response also, most of the time, leads to a better outcome. It's much better than emotional reaction. So stop, pause, and think regarding any decisions you are making during this time. And there's nothing wrong with asking for a little more time to consider something. So remember that. You can always ask, I need a little bit more time. There's nothing wrong with that. Number 2 of do's. Do put your children first. Divorce changes a family, but it doesn't change the fact that your children need love, reassurance, and stability from both parents. Allow them to love, allow them to have their own feelings and thoughts, allow them to be kids. Put aside the conflict and remember that your children are not a part of the divorce. They are experiencing it, but they are not an active participant in it. You and your spouse are the participants, not your children. I will say it again. They are experiencing divorce. They are not participating in it and should not be participating in it. Listen to their feelings. Encourage them to talk to the other parent. Protect them from adult conversations and disagreements. Model respect. Nate talks about this a lot earlier. Towards that other parent. And I know it is hard, but take the high road. They will thank you. And when I say they, I mean your children when they get older. Divorce changes the relationship between two people, but it doesn't change your role in that child's life. Dad is always going to be dad. and mom's always going to be mom. Your marriage may end, but your responsibility to love and support and encourage your children never ends. They should not feel like they have to choose sides or dismiss a parent because the adults can't get along. One of the greatest gifts that you can give your children during the divorce is the freedom to love both parents without guilt. Protect their childhood, preserve their relationships, and remember that while the marriage is ending, your family is simply taking on a new shape. Build a relationship with your children that will carry you into your child's adult life. That should be your goal. There are only 18 birthdays, 18 first days of school, 18 Christmases or Hanukkahs or whatever you enjoy celebrating with your children until they are considered an adult and can make their own life choices. 18 is not a big number. What matters is how you handle yourself now while they are young. Your kids will build their adult lives on whether you're going to be included based off of how you're acting now. They are adults much longer than they are children. The gifts that you buy them, they'll forget. But your behavior, they will not. That behavior is forever, ever in their mind, not the toy you bought them when they were 7. Your kids will remember how mom and dad treated each other, and that's a guarantee. Number 3, stay organized and educated. Divorce involves many moving parts. Finances, paperwork, deadlines, decisions, lots of feelings, and important conversations. Staying organized can help reduce the stress and give you a clearer picture of your options. Ask for help if you're struggling with this. Take time to learn about divorce process. Ask legal questions to an attorney. Schedule a consult. It's worth a couple of $100 to get real answers. Those real answers then can help you make big decisions. Don't rely on ChatGPT or AI or Facebook responses, because to make lifelong decisions, they don't know, what's going on in your life in your divorce. Every divorce is different. Gathering the information you need to make thoughtful decisions about your future is super important. You need to create a budget. You need to know about tax consequences. You need to know about how much you'll receive when you sell the house. You need to know how much you owe on the house. You need to know who's responsible for health insurance coverage. You need to know what to expect if you have to get a QDRO, which is a qualified domestic relations order, to divide retirement accounts. The list goes on and on and on. The more information you have, the more confident you can feel moving forward. The more confident you feel in negotiating a settlement, the more confident you'll feel starting the second chance that you've been given. And that's exactly what you have, a second chance to make what you want. You don't have to know all the answers today, but taking the time to understand your choices can make a significant difference in your divorce journey and for your future. And yes, you do have choices. Divorces are not one size fits all. Knowledge helps you make informed decisions. Gather all the knowledge you can. You should be an active participant. You decide what's going on and it's going to be best for you and your children if you have them. Work with a certified divorce coach to help you plan for what's next, not just survive today. It's okay to also get excited about your future. So many times people will say, I feel guilty, but I'm kind of excited. Don't feel guilty. Get excited. Divorce is an end of one chapter, but it's the beginning of another. This is your opportunity to rebuild a life that reflects your values, supports your goals, and inspires your dreams. Number 4, do build a strong support team. Divorce can feel overwhelming, and you don't have to navigate it alone. Divorce Force is constantly saying this in every one of our sessions. Surround yourself with people who will support you. Trusted friends, family, knowledgeable attorney, financial advisor, certified divorce coach. You want people around you who help you stay focused on your goals and provide education and keep you moving forward and prepare you for the future. The past is the past. No one can change that. So the right support can make difficult transition feel more manageable and helps you move forward with confidence and less stress. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a step forward to creating a healthier future. So many people want to help you. 4 of them are here tonight, and there are a million more out there with the same desire we have, which is to provide you help through a difficult time in your life. And my number 5, do keep your focus on the future. It is so natural to reflect on the past during a divorce, replaying the words that were said or what I should have said or what I could have done differently. The key is don't let yesterday keep you from building your tomorrow. Every decision you make during this process will be a part of shaping your next chapter. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, focus on what is going forward, your future and yourself for you and your kids. For perhaps the first time in a long time, you're the author of your own story. You call the shots. You make the decisions. You get to pick who comes in with you and who gets to leave. You get to leave behind. You get to decide what kind of life you want to build from here. Is it scary? Absolutely. Is it going to take patience and a lot of practice? Yes. Is it worth it? 100%, you betcha. So divorce is a transition, not a destination. Don't unpack your bags in the divorce. Don't let yourself stay stuck in the pain longer than necessary. Deal with the feels and then start building that life that you want. So start looking ahead. Things you can do is like choose a theme song and start playing it as often as you can to remind you of this new season you're getting ready to start. Dream about peace you'll create in your new home. Plan adventures that you wanted to take and haven't. Rediscover hobbies that you've put aside and say yes to new experiences. Live your life. And remember this, a fresh start isn't about forgetting the past. It's about learning from it and believing your future can be even better. That seemed like a whole lot. Woo, take a deep breath.
Divorce is a whole lot. I mean, let's just be real.
Divorce is a whole lot.
It's not easy to get through.
No.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, so that's Karen. You guys see why she's so good. She's calming. She really will tell you to just get over it. And she'll also kid glove you when she knows it's the right thing. She's very good at reading a room. Next up, we have our certified divorce real estate expert. This is Rachel Dimian. I always say your name. Damien.
Yeah.
It's spelled Dimian, but I'm supposed to say it Damien. I'm going to get it one of these days.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter if I can say her name right. I can tell you that she's a gem of a human, and she has a heart to help humans. And you know, she does all kinds of things, but most importantly, and this happened to me when I went through said divorce. I got only the home. We didn't have retirement accounts. We didn't have all these things. And I needed a Rachel back then. I needed someone that could hold my hand and walk me through some things. And when Rachel, you know, when I met her, I'm like, where were you 5 years ago when I went through this? So we have her on here. A house is one of the biggest assets you have. And she's going to talk about the do's and don'ts about your house and your home and some things to think about.
Thanks, Brandy. So your home is, as Brandy said, your largest asset. And one of the things that I see that really breaks my heart is during a divorce, oftentimes the home is a reflection of the emotional state of the people who live in it. If a person is an emotional wreck, there's a very good chance that that home has gone into a bit of disrepair. So some of the things as far as don'ts when it comes time, if you're looking at getting a divorce and it comes time to start thinking about the home, one of the first things and one of the most important things that I would say is do not let the house go into disrepair. This includes the yard. This includes basic maintenance in the home. You know, sometimes I'll see broken doors. I'll see holes in walls, and part of that is a reflection of the relationship. Part of that is also a reflection of the inner turmoil that a person is experiencing. And I get that, I understand that. Um, but it can also be healing to repair some of those things, to um, see new growth, to get rid of the holes, if that makes sense. When the home goes into disrepair, that's going to affect the value of it. And if it comes time and you have to sell the home, then that's going to be equity that you have now lost because the home was in disrepair. Another thing, don't allow the utilities to be shut off, especially if you're going to need to sell the home. Those utilities are going to have to be on in order for the inspector to be able to do their job. Um, Again, if you are looking at needing to sell the home, don't impede the timeline for getting the home on the market. If if it comes down to having to sell the home, um, putting roadblocks in the way of getting the home listed is really only going to cause problems. I have heard horror stories from people in the CDRE community where one thing after another until it finally came down to we had to have the in-spouse basically evicted, and no one wants to do that. No one wants to do that. So as best as you can, do not impede the timeline. Um, Along with that, don't decline showings and appointments unless it is absolutely necessary. If your kid is sick, I completely understand that. We can reschedule. That's okay. But if it's just because you don't want to um, take the dog out or you're just tired or whatever, you still need to allow those showings again if we are looking at selling the home. Um, and another thing, and this is really more long term, um, if at all possible, don't rack up credit card debt. That credit card debt is going to hurt you in the long term. Number one, it's going to affect your debt to income ratio. Number two, it's going to impact your ability to take out another loan if you need to. It can impact your credit rating, which can impact your ability to rent a home or an apartment. So those are just a few of the items. As far as dues, definitely stay current on your mortgage. The last thing that we want, and I've spoken about this before, but the last thing that we want is to not only have to deal with the sale of the marital home, which is already going to be highly emotional, but then to also have to deal with a home that is now in foreclosure. That is the last thing that we want to do. It's totally doable. I've done it before, but it's not fun. And it causes a lot of unnecessary stress. Um, Another thing, do comply with court orders regarding the marital home. When I have to sell the marital home, and it's not my first choice, but when I have to sell the marital home, my goal is to help both parties come out with as much possible so that they can start the next chapter in their life. My goal is to protect the equity in the home so that you can have a better future. That is my goal. I am a neutral. I don't take sides with one party or the other. I take the side of the house, if that makes sense. Um, I'm protecting that equity so that I can protect your financial future, if that makes sense. Um, do speak with a CDRE early in the process to determine a viable path. Now, this might be, um, first off, can you afford to keep the home? If you can afford to keep the home, then the next thing is, can you get qualified? Okay, if you can get qualified, what process do you need to go through? I am not a lender, so I'm not going to be able to walk you through that process, but I can refer you to a divorce lender who I trust and who has helped numerous people, and that's pretty much all that they do is work with couples who are going through divorce. Um, if you are needing to get a market analysis, get a valuation for the home, for example, if you need to do a buyout because you're wanting to keep the home, talk with a professional who is able to do that. I am able to do that. Appraisers are able to do that. Um, I will maintain a neutral stance, meaning I'm not going to inflate the value and I'm not going to deflate the value. I'm going to give you a value based on what I see in the market today. Do start making plans early for a potential move. Even if you are planning to keep the home, which hopefully one person can. That is always the goal. Hopefully one person can. But just in case it may come up that you actually can't, start making plans early. Make a backup plan just so that way you're not stuck in limbo wondering what on earth do I do next. If the home has to be listed and go on market, have that personal property divided early. Get as much of it removed as possible, especially if one spouse is out of the home. Have that spouse get all of their personal items out as quickly as possible. That will allow us to better stage the home and make the home more attractive to potential buyers. And of course, back to what I first said, do keep the house and yard maintained. This really affects your value. A person, your home's first impression is going to be the photos that are taken. And if those photos show a dilapidated home, most people are not going to want to see that. Another item, don't fight to keep a home that you cannot afford. The last thing that you want is to end up with a mortgage that you can afford it, but you can't afford anything else. You can't afford ice cream. You can't afford to have a night out with your friends. You can't afford to take the kids to a movie or whatever. If the home is going to make you house poor, let's find a different option for you. So I hope that helps.
So good. You think of all the things you did wrong in divorce when you went through it. Rachel, that was really, really good. Yeah, so much to chew on. We're about 3 minutes out from the end of the hour. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, I went too far, on my stuff. What I will tell you, we're doing something every month. The biggest thing with the financial side of things, I'm in this space not because I ever thought, gosh, I can't wait to grow up and be a financial advisor. I'm in this space because I went through a divorce and I realized really early on that I knew nothing, and knowing nothing costs me greatly. And my name is Brandy Agnew, and I'm very passionate about helping families through divorce. But the do's and don'ts. Don't just focus on today. When you're going through divorce, it's real tempting to go, I need this and I need this. And you're thinking of today. Your future matters. You guys, the only thing you cannot finance in your world is retirement. You can finance a car, you can finance shoes, you can finance clothes, you can finance a house. Everything's financeable. But no one's going to go, oh, you're getting older? Let me give you $100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million so you can use it and then die and not pay it back, right? So think of the future, and don't ignore the long-term impact of retirement splits. I have a whole bunch of notes here that I would go through. I just want to make sure I get you guys out of here on time. But just know that all money isn't equal. The selling of a home is not equal to a retirement account. Karen touched on quadro accounts, or QDRO, however you want to say it. Very important that you have someone walk with you that can help you understand what this is. You know, what's the difference when you're doing your marital spreadsheets, your balance spreadsheet, the 50-50 split, or whatever state you're in, it's going to be different. A 401k is not the same as cash. It's not. And that's stuff that you'll want to know as you start going through that divorce. Every one of us has said this, and I don't know how you control it. If you're an emotional person and you react emotionally to everything, this is going to be a hard thing for you. But what I'll tell you is, don't make financial decisions when you are losing your mind. And here's an example, and I'll use me because I can tell you I did this, and this is why I teach what not to do. As I went through said divorce, and I got so tired of 9 hours of mediation and the judge coming in and going, oh, Brandy, but he really loves you. And well, okay, Mr. Judge, or mediator, why don't you go marry him? Because I'm tired of being abused. I'm not doing that anymore. And I was 9 hours, I was exhausted. I was in decision-making overload. So here's what I gave up. He beat me down and beat me down and beat me down. I gave up maintenance. So I thought, oh gosh, when my daughter's 18, and even though I only had, well, I had unlimited maintenance. We were married for 21 years, but I said, I'll drop it down $3,000. And I did. And it was really painful because I was still trying to build my career. And then I also didn't prepare for my kids' college. I didn't prepare for things that I knew that were important to me. I didn't put on the front of my list. I didn't know to. I had no idea. So to make the emotional decisions just to get him to go away, women, I see women do this more than I see men do this. You can have it all. I don't care. I just want to be done. That is the worst thing to do, because what I'll tell you is, as a mom, you've spent millions of dollars of time raising a family, taking care of the family. And then when you get to that place, you haven't built a 401k, you haven't built a retirement income, you haven't built most likely a savings, you haven't built anything for you to grow on. You've built some great relationship with your kids, but that does not equal retirement, right? Don't forget the tax implications of asset division. This is a hard one to talk about. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to tell you, if you're going through a divorce, find someone to walk with you. Get a financial advisor, a financial planner, a financial professional, financial educator, a CDFE, a certified divorce financial CDFA. I'll get all the acronyms together. But do know your stuff. And women tend to go, oh, my husband's got all that. I don't need to know it. That was my biggest mistake. I needed to know how to do taxes. I needed to know what the taxes were. I needed to know how much the house was worth. I needed to know how to log into the financial accounts. I needed to know all the things. I didn't need to control it. But as a woman going through divorce, please, please, please just start doing some little, and you can say snooping, but it's yours too. It's a marital asset. Know what you owe on your mortgage. Know what assets you have. Know what life insurance policies you have. Know where the money is held. Very important. Really get a realistic, this is to, I think Karen's spoken about this, Nathan has spoken about this, and Rachel. Know what it's going to cost you to live. Hope is not a plan, guys. You cannot go, oh, I just trust it. The money's going to come when I need it. Well, let's talk about when you need it and your kids are sick. When you need it and you can't go to work tomorrow because they've been sick for a week. When you need it and those costs are shooting up and you never prepared. And you can't prepare for everything. But the things that someone in the financial industry can walk you through is the valleys of the things you're not going to think about because you're so emotionally charged. Make sure you review and update beneficiary designations. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. There's a reason for that. Once you get divorced, make sure it's not your ex-spouse. That's the person, unless it's court ordered. Make sure that you have that money set up in a trust for your children or for people that you want to give it to. But make sure you start building separate emergency funds early on. I have watched so many families commingle their money. I'm not saying it's wrong, but keep your power and keep some things separate. I think it creates spiciness in a marriage anyway. Probably will keep you longer together. Just kidding. But I'm not going to spend any more time trading retirement assets for home equity without understanding future consequences, a common mistake. And we're going to go on. We are literally 3 minutes over. I'm going to skip gray divorces, probably one of our bigger topics coming up. We'll come back to it. We do actually cover it, I think. Are we covering it later, you guys?
It
I'm
might
going to
be
say
next
September. I think September.
Oh, September, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go over this, but there's some big things to consider because you don't have time to make things up. Top 10 mistakes that people make. I'm just going to rattle through these guys because we don't have time to explain them. Making emotional decisions, using children as leverage, all the things we've talked about. I'm going to go straight down the left, even when we went out of order. Keeping the house at all costs, ignoring retirement assets, taking advice from angry friends. It's like being pregnant. Do you guys notice when you're pregnant, everybody gives you their pregnancy story and they're all bad? And you're like, I don't want to hear this. I'm about to have a child. Go away. Same thing with divorce. Everybody likes to share their negative divorce stories. They don't always go, my divorce is great. We got along great. It was the best thing we ever did. You hear that maybe once out of 5 million, right? Stop sharing all that. Don't hide assets and don't fail to disclose things. Don't overspend on legal battles. And our family attorney here might go, no, please overspend. I'd love to make the money. You're going to overspend by being emotionally charged. You're going to overspend by not doing the things that we're recommending. Okay. But there's a good amount to spend and you're going to have to spend some money. It costs some dollars.
You're going to overspend by fighting for a house that neither of you can afford to keep.
That's a good point. That's why that divorce budget helps, that post-divorce budget. Dating or moving too quickly. oftentimes, and there's a stat on this, and I don't know it off the top of my head, that people will get together and you end up leaving the narcissist for a malignant, you leave from a malignant narcissist and you go to a covert narcissist because you've not done the work on yourself. And Nathan, what did you say earlier? Tell us your quote about Snow White.
Doesn't marry Jack the Ripper.
Snow White is not attracted to Jack the Ripper. So if you're attracted to that kind of person, until you do some work with Karen or with someone like Karen, you're going to keep finding the same thing with just different issues. So please don't do that. Be alone. Learn to be alone. It's powerful. It's fabulous. It's a great idea. Don't fail to create a post-divorce budget, and don't focus on winning instead of rebuilding. Your goal is in the future. Fight for what you want. Karen said some beautiful things about taking back. What did you say, Karen? Gosh, I wrote it down. I was like, oh, this was so good. But you talked about
Taking back.
rebuilding. No, you said this. You said, think about what you want your life to look like, your peace. Take back your peace. So when you think about the trauma that you're in and the stress of divorce and all the decision-making overload, what if you sat there for a minute and you go, gosh, when I'm through this, I can wake up in the morning, no one's going to yell at me. I can wake up in the morning, I can turn the music on, my music. I can wake up in the morning, sit and have a cup of coffee with peace and tranquility. I can do what's good for my kids and create a routine so we're not in this crazy cycle. Start thinking of what you want your life to look like and imagine it to be true, speak it into the universe and build that. And all these little things will start coming together, but end your marriage with a goal in mind. Okay, we're not going to spend any time on this, but we are going to give you this. Our next one is August 20th, mediation, what to consider. Our mission and our goal, we have a couple people that we're waiting to be guest speakers. We always try to get guest speakers on, and we're hoping to have a judge and a mediator. Has been in the industry for a very long time, a great place to get questions asked and answered. But make sure you see that one. If you know anyone going through divorce, invite them to this. We are recording it there's many people that can't be on this. Your names are on here. That gets scary, but we're going to put it on our website, and Rachel put that in the chat so you guys can look that up. And the very lastly, screenshot this. I had to do a little, Nathan's email was messed up. So we put that on there. If you want to get some questions answered, feel free to call us. Most of these are our cell phone numbers and our email addresses. Feel free to ask questions. Get the knowledge. Karen said something powerful. Knowledge is power, but she said knowledge is one of the greatest assets that nobody can take from you. So fight for that knowledge, get the help. We're not asking for you to pay us. We just want you to get it. And if we don't know it, we'll send you to someone that does. Thank you guys so much for being here. Panelists, you guys were phenomenal. You just get better every time. Thank you for helping people, for caring to get the word out. It doesn't matter if it's a small group or a big group. We care for you guys just the same. You guys have a good night.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
You.